I'm gonna start doing these story times from back in the day, and this one's from 2008. I'm gonna add these to my memory lane playlist on TikTok, but I'll post them to all platforms. I might have to leave certain names and certain details out when necessary, but if it's not gonna get nobody in trouble, I might use first names, nicknames, things like that. People who put it together, that's okay because it's just a story time. But like I said, certain aspects you might remember it being a little different, and you'll understand if I don't talk about that. I moved back in with my dad in 2006. I was 16, and I got a 98 Dodge Avenger. I got my license. 2008, I just turned 18. Now, me and Monique would go through these little breakups and get back together. I know y'all remember that. We would hurt each other, dumb shit, get back together, but everybody knew that we would eventually. Well, during this time, it was one of those, and I was 18. My dad said, "You'll be all right. I'm going to Montana for 7 days. You can have a couple friends over." At that time, he would let my homies just come upstairs and wake me up. Most of us went to the alternative school, Life Skills Academy. We didn't have to be there till 11. The rest of them went to Warren G. Harding High School. But back then, we had like our little East Side boys and our little North Side players cliques and formed one crew where we would all hang out. I mean, it's so many people I can't even name. My neighbor Freddie G, Jerry on the other side of the wall, Anthony on the other side of the wall. It was like a sixplex. Then you would have, Kyle, Scott, Bina, Darwin, my cousins B and Junebug. Everybody, Ryan. I'm not even gonna name everybody, but y'all know, and I know you remember that old crew. Kia, Monique, of course, everybody. They would just come to my house and my dad would let them wake me up and we'd be smoking. And in my room, I had like posters and a black light with two couches, two beds. It felt like a college dorm room. At that time, that's why my mom didn't want me back at my dad's, because all we did was party and hang out. He was cool with me doing whatever. And at that time, I never knew I was a rug addict. I would smoke, drink, and take things like mushies and, paper hits and things like that. But I never had a real problem at the time. I didn't think I did. All right, so fast forward to what this main story is about. I just wanted you to get like the backstory to it a little bit. During this time period, we, he said I could have a couple people, but it turned into this big ass ordeal. And I didn't know by the end of this story there would be the cops called multiple times. My dad would lose trust for me, and I would end up fighting multiple times. Twice with some friends and once with the random neighbors. So it was like 3 different fights I got in. Well, okay, so how this all took place was the first party we had was, we just threw like 30 people came over, threw a party, and it was to the point where even the neighbors was coming. The neighbors on the other side of the wall knew we were having the party. At some point, someone accused allegedly that my cousin had, and he could say it if he wants in the comments, but I don't want to make people feel on the spot, so that's why I said I'm gonna leave parts out. They said that he fought with our neighbor Aaron and allegedly took his chain. I don't know, but by the time I came outside, because that's how big our party was, it spilled out into the driveway, right? All these cars in the parking lot. Well, he goes home, gets his sister and these 3 black dudes. She just came home from prison. Well, they get a tire iron. They came back and busted every single car, out in the driveway. And Scott had like this old school, a nice ass Impala, like a 78 or something. R.I.P. him. He ended up getting unalive some years later. A couple people in the story ain't alive no more, actually. But so they come back, they do that. We're all in the house. The girls are scared. All the guys form together and we charge down the steps because we know they're out there breaking windows. They're trying to get in my house now. They're trying to home invade, but I got this metal door. It ended up having these indents in the door. I unlock. Someone swings it open, unlocks it, and I just kick forward. I got my feet on, or my hands on each side of the guardrail. To walk up the stairs where you hold the handrail. I meant to say. I hold that, put my weight on it, and I kick forward. We all spill out. We end up fighting with them. But we had like 8, 10 dudes, I don't know, against 3 dudes and a chick. And I can hear y'all already. Yeah, it was a girl. No, it was this gangster-ass chick that worked out and had a fucking tire iron. She's swinging it at me and everybody. She's swinging it at all of us. But we ended up pretty much mopping these people because we had them outnumbered. She swings it at me. I put my arm up, and I remember going like this. And at one point, when I pull my arm back down, she's just gone because somebody, I don't want to put that on them like that, but they ended up knocking her out, punching her from the side. They just seen her swing that at me. The three dudes they were with dragged her by her ankle back down to their house. There was a round two. Some other things allegedly happened. I'm leaving out of this. The cops came, and by that time, it was a ghost town. Everybody was gone, drove off, or was hiding. And we were in the house with the door locked, lights out, on the ground, laying there hiding because they were pounding on our door, which they ended up coming back the next day asking us about the shit that they said happened. And we told them we were in the house and we heard a bunch of commotion, but we didn't know and we weren't a part of it. All right, so my dad's getting calls in Montana, you know what I'm saying? Crazy shit, he's pissed. The next day or the day after, we have another party. People there told me some shit that made me mad, so I ended up calling. At the time, Monique was hanging out with Kia and Darwin, and then some of our friends like Evan and Aaron, which they called Herbie, Kia's brother, all them on Ohio Street and Niles. So we end up calling, and I'm mad, and I'm asking them about some shit. And Evan's hanging out there, which was kind of like our friend at the time. So I told him I wanted a one-on-one. He said, all right. So I drive out there with a car full of people. I'm so mad, I'm seeing red. I hop out, I run up on him, I start hitting him. We get to wrestling, we fall down. I end up ground and pounding him. I stand up and boot him in the face, leave a Nike mark on his face. Everybody separates us, we drive off. At the time, I think Kia might have gotten Darwin's ear, I'm not sure. You know, he ain't never been a bitch. That's my dude. I actually just seen him a couple days ago at the store. We're still friends. But he called me for the 1v1. He was like mad. So the next day, they all pull up at my house, and I had called Brandon and Brad, which was down the street neighbors, R.I.P. Brad. They come down there. Me and Darwin get to fighting. Evan is all fucked up. He got marks all over his face. Well, he ends up trying to choke me. They yank him off and slam him. They all drive off. Me and Darwin fought like twice, 2 back-to-back rounds. At this point, me and Monique just kind of stare at each other, and it was so dumb, petty, and drama, but we got back together like 2 weeks later. So that done happened. Then Christian, who I'm friends with still to this day, we did a bid in Noble together. He was mad about everything, so he wanted to fight me. But when my cousin Junebug came, for some reason, they never came back. That part didn't happen. So all these fights, all these friendships we're all losing is going on. My dad's getting calls in Montana by the neighbors. He comes home, the house is just fucking trashed. He definitely had no more trust for me. We got neighbors' car windows busted out who didn't even have nothing to do with the shit. I'm gonna actually have a lot more story times from that apartment and that, place. This was just the precursor to kind of explain how things were there, and just a couple of the main highlight crazy nights that I remember happening. Also in that time period, I remember I got into a fight with D Nice. Some of you guys probably remember him. We ain't got no issues still to this day. But me and him fought there in the driveway. There was like a big brawl between me, Anthony, Alan Grossbeck, our homie, and a bunch of other people was involved with that in the driveway. Stupid ass shit. Hey, comment below if you remember any of this. And if you was there at my dad's apartment, if you guys remember any of this shit that I'm talking about in that old bedroom that we used to kick it in. I'm not trying to condone violence. I'm not trying to sound cool, but this is part of my memories and things that went on and happened. So obviously I got a memory lane playlist on TikTok. I'm going to use it. That really was the kicking spot though, y'all. We would just get together, hang out. I forgot we had Tommy on the other side too. I still talk to him. He lived on the other side of the wall. So this was, like I said, a sixplex, and we had neighbors that we all would look out for each other and hang out. Freddie G was my main neighbor on the other side, and we don't hang out as much, talk that much, but I would have to say for all them years, he was probably my best friend for a long time. Everybody knew me, him, and Khalid was really close. R.I.P. Khalid, he ended up getting unalive too. Many more stories to come. Hope you enjoyed this one. Stay safe, stay free, stay blessed.